Hello, it's good to have you on the program today. It's always a pleasure to share the moments with you whenever we come to think about the fact that there is a moment for us to reason together, discuss the economy and all that. So today, it's a special day, of course, we know. And being a special day, we also discuss something that is really special. Okechukwu Onubogu, by the way, is my name, and I have a guest with whom to talk on the program today. And this day, I want us to look at the independence and us, you know, and then why is it and us? Let's look at ourselves. What are we like? You know, our reasoning and our actions and all that, because we need to be mentally alert, mentally okay, even before we start talking about the fact that we are celebrating or rejoicing or commemorating the Independence Day. And so today I brought a mental health specialist, a mental health coach, to help me, and a spiritual mother too, to help me talk about what has to do with this today. That's why, as I did say, the topic is Nigeria, independence and us. I think this topic should be shown, yes, independence and us, and talking about the mental health of the people, as a whole. We'll look at that. And so my guest is here with me. Let me just introduce her. We'll do a little talking before we go into other things today. And she is LANIYI. If you look, you see that I said that she's also a spiritual person, so you see when I write Pastor LANIYI this day, because I want us to look at more on the spiritual, mental aspect of life than just the physical. Mamita, good to have you on the program.
My pleasure, always. Thank you.
Right. And we want to share and talk about this program effectively, looking at our nation. Let me say congratulations. Our country has got to be 65 now.
Yes, God.
And yes, we really thank God. And so looking at it, normally we see ourselves as if we look at a man or a human being that is 65 years of age, there are certain things that are expected of such a person. And one of such things is that such person should be, is supposed to be quite well grown, maybe to be able to take decisions by himself or on his own, and to also take responsibility. But then when someone is that age and you see he's not taking responsibility, decisions are hard for him to take and all those things, sometimes you ask, that you say that such a person is reasoning like a child. Our country is 65. What would you say about us, looking at it from the mental health sector and from the spiritual sector, because you're doing both things today? Well, how do we see it? How do you see it concerning our country and us? Because I said independence and us, mental health of the people. Please.
All right, thank you so much for this great privilege. It's nice to be here again, and I want to say happy independence to everyone out there. Thank God for Nigeria. Nigeria is 65. We are appreciative that we have life, because when there's life, there is hope. So we thank God that we have life, and we believe God that things will keep improving in Nigeria. As positive we might be, we cannot downplay the aspect that we still need to still improve greatly and still grow up greatly. And Nigeria has gotten to the point that if God does not intervene concerning Nigeria, we will remain in the same place for a long time. A child that is up to 65, in fact, is a child reaching a retirement age.
He's no longer a child because he's an adult.
An adult in the retirement age. Yeah. And at the retirement age, because I think the normal age for retirement is between 60 to 65. Yes. It depends on the level,
yes, and the establishment.
So, but mostly from 60 to 65, you're already preparing for retirement.
The judges, their own is 70 now.
Yes, so that means you must have worked so hard while you were younger, and to be able to get to the point of retirement. So Nigeria should be retiring by now. What do I mean by that? By now we should start, if we have planted good seeds, those seeds should start germinating, should start yielding fruits. We should start enjoying the fruits of our labor. But it's so painful that many of the labors of our heroes past, you know, some have not really been cultivated, and many have not been used properly. Some of their activities have been tampered with, have been toiled with, and that's why we've not gotten to our desired heaven. And it's so sad that we're at that point. Mentally, we're at a place that we are not at the place of rest. Many of us are not happy with the things that are going on in Nigeria because of the leaders. The leaders need to still improve. They still need to put more hard work for us to get to this desired heaven. And I want to say that many analysts, many economists, many citizens, you know, are praying that we get to that desired heaven that everyone dream of. And I believe, God, that we can get to that point as a country. And a lot of things that we need to work on as a country. We were talking about economic inequality and poverty. You know, despite that we are the giant of Africa, you know, our economy is a major you know, basic needs. And up till now, we're still looking up to God for quality water. We are still looking up to the government for a healthcare, proper healthcare system. We are still looking up to quality education, poverty eradication. A lot of people are not happy. Despite the fact that Nigeria is 65, there are no much celebrations out there. People are hungry. People are still looking for what to eat. Many people are trusting God for school fees. This is October 1. Many schools resumed in September, first week, second week, and many parents are yet to pay their school fees. Some that have even paid have not fully completed paying. So there's a lot happening in Nigeria that is not making a lot of people to be happy. So mentally, Nigerians are not happy because we feel that at 65 we should be far more than where we are right now. We should be enjoying the fruits of our labor, because if we've labored very well right from time, then we should begin to enjoy that labor at this age. So, and at this age, we are still battling with security, you know, security issues like insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, violence, communal clashes, and all that. All we are still battling with it. Those are the issues we are battling with, and this has affected the mental health of a lot of people. People are sleeping with one eye closed and one eye open because they don't know who is the next victim. And these are the things that we are still praying to God and trusting God that God will help Nigeria to get to that point of rest, that will get to that point of rest. And these things need to be worked on. We are still dealing, at this age, we are still dealing with infrastructure deficits, a lot of struggles with chronic issues, inadequate power supply, and a major block to industrializations, poor road network, unreliable public services, and a lot of road network. A friend of mine told me she took a bus and traveled to Port Harcourt, from here to Port Harcourt, and she said the road was terrible by road, and she left in the morning the first day and arrived 11 the following day. That's 11 the following day, and she left very early, around 9 in the morning the previous day. Yes, and then arrived. So it was beyond 24 hours. Beyond 24 hours. And the road network was, and then when the road network is bad, it creates a lot of opportunities for you know, a lot of bad things to happen on the road, like banditry, kidnaps, and a lot of things. So at 65, we still have a long way to go. I know we are still you know, we are still work in progress. We are still a work in progress, but we can move further than that. We are supposed to be at a place of rest by now, enjoying the fruits of our labor. So I think for now, that's what I want to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We will look at the fact that even just as you've mentioned, some people have described it as though it's a significant milestone, but then the celebration is bittersweet, you know, bittersweet due to the country's ongoing struggles. Despite its vast potential, that our country, Nigeria, faces numerous challenges that impact its people. Just as you have mentioned, there are some economic challenges. You have just mentioned them. And among the economic challenges, there are inflation, soaring inflation rates, particularly food inflation, which peaked at 40.7% in 2024, making it difficult for millions to afford basic necessities. This is one of the things that are affecting our people on a serious note. And from what you're saying, I also want to deduce that there is also, and from what we have seen, definitely there is unemployment, high unemployment rates in our country, especially among young people. And that contributes to poverty and economic instability. So that's another that we'll look at as we go on. And then there is the major problem that is the housing deficit in this country today. Getting to have a house, to live in a place, especially since after the removal of fuel subsidy, has gone to the cost of house rent, to pay house rent is now so high. And just as you said, we're praying I'll be able to have such things, get able to have them settled. You know, a staggering housing deficit of approximately 28 million units, with many Nigerians unable to access affordable housing. We've seen it everywhere, from the capital territory to moving to any state, wherever it is you can think of, as far as there's work to be done there. That's the same story we have had. I've seen people living in one a self-contained room, paying as much as 500,000, 600,000, which is what was unheard of before now. And even in some areas, I have also gathered, even in that self-contained room, someone is paying 1.5 million. Telling you about it. I say it depends on the area, but that's where you find it. And that 1.5 million, I have also seen the one that is 2 million in the FCT here. So it just moves. When someone lives in a self-contained room and is paying 2 million naira, the question will be, how much does he even earn in a year in the first place? You know, and a lot is happening. I hope and pray that we will get to have effective results the way we ought to have, and for our land to be made better truly, even as we've been told that it will be made better. Our president has said that the worst days are over. He said it. And so I believe him, honestly. When the worst days are over, we'll start having peace, is it not? We'll start begin to see better things happen around us, like this road thing you talked about. Apart from your friend that told you moving from here to Port Harcourt, someone else, I read about it this morning, also moved, that was last month or 2 months back, moved from the southeast to Abuja, and she said she spent 9 hours on the way to come from the southeast to the FCT. You know, so you see, it's almost a whole day's matter, a whole day's job. And moving from the southwest to Abuja also will take you about 12 clear hours for you to get to where you're going. And in some cases, I mean, talking about moving in good vehicles that are in good condition and vehicles that are fast, because there are some that will also take you 14 to 16 hours to get there, but these are the ones that are quite the ones you can say they can move fast, and they are quite okay to looking at the quality of the vehicle people are staying in. But then, glory be to God that in our land there are many priorities abound in this land for progress, like safety nets, providing safety nets for the poor and vulnerable population, to mitigate the impact of the economic reforms. It's one of the things that we can talk about. And infrastructural development, investing in power, that a lot are talking about today. Lots of people are talking about investing in power, investing in transportation, and of course, Remember that when transportation is what you invest in, you also look at the fact that the roads need to be in order, so that such persons like your friend will not go through what they have gone through. Thank God that from the president's speech today, there are many hopeful things for us. Talking about the road projects from Lagos to the coastal road project, superhighway from Lagos to Calabar. They said it's still going on, and the rail thing also is going on up north, and we still hope that another one will also go down south. So let's just hope that we get to have better things in our land concerning making things work out well. Then, of course, creating more jobs and promoting economic diversification to reduce dependence on oil and stimulate growth. We've heard about this for a long time. And there is one that is really bothering me, talking about the blue economy. When that ministry was created, I was among the people who were so excited that for once we will now address the wealth that is in the blue economy. Incidentally, we have not started seeing the result yet. It's quite painful. It's quite painful. Our minister told us last year that it will take 5 more years for us to start seeing the impact of the blue economy on the economy. And he specifically said that that's when we were expecting about 30% to be made as contribution to the economy from the blue economy. So we're looking forward to all these and hoping that we will see them. And there is a need for us to continue with education and skill development, skills development. There are so many skillful people in this country who have wonderful skills that need to be developed and all. And so looking at all these things, I keep looking at where are we going to, where we're getting to, how all these things will be made to happen. These are the things we need to work on to get better. And as we are celebrating or rejoicing or commemorating the 65th anniversary of Nigeria, independent Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but then the independent Nigeria, politically independent Nigeria. Because that's what this independence is, when you got political independence. I know we are still economically dependent on so many factors anyway, but then as we go on, we pray that there will be ways out. Looking at our country today, there are some people that are working as though their aim is to make sure that this nation never rises the way it ought to. Looking at the things we have heard from maybe the activity of some organizations that are in the news currently, the Pengasan, and the mind that every liter there is a 1 naira the deduction and all that. For every liter of fuel that is transported or moved from any depot, there will be 1 naira deducted to the purse of Pengasan and all that, and that group. You keep wondering, who is the person that is causing the problem for the country? Because these are Nigerians, and all this money that is also going is going to their purses and whatever it is. And so human beings will start asking, is there anything wrong with the head of these people who are Nigerians? Why can't they think of doing things that will help everybody? Many times you see people, all they want is what they themselves will benefit, what they themselves will gain. As an association, as an individual, in offices, workplaces, and everywhere, it's just the same. I keep asking, please, ma, is there anything wrong with the mental health of Nigerians? Is there any way, is there anything that could be done by you and your people to help our people rewire their thinking so that they can think, as it was said, do not think of what you do for America. do not think of what America will do for you. Think about what you do for America. Nigeria, the same. Why can't they think of what they will do for Nigeria, not what Nigeria will do? Nigeria has bled for them for so long, yet they are not thinking of what they can do for Nigeria. Please, from your perspective, what is required, in the mental health of human beings to make them behave right? So many people are not behaving right in this country.
Thank you so much, sir. So, mental health has to do with our overall well-being, has to do with being stable psychologically, physically, emotionally, and all aspects. So, and everybody is being affected in one way or the other.
Yes.
The stress, the anxiety that everybody goes through in the economy has a way of tampering with the way we reason and the way we do things. And as a result, because of the hardship in the economy, it tends to tamper with a lot of the mindsets of individuals. And that's why most people are always self-centered. And they just think about themselves, what they will eat and how they can make it. And that's why the selfishness and the self-centeredness has increased, within the people. And people are looking for survival. Everybody is on survival mode. It's survival of the fittest, and which is not good. But this impact is as a result of stress, as a result of anxiety, and as a result of childhood traumas. There are traumas that some people have passed through, and that's made their formative years, made them to grow in the aspect that the way they think is different. The only way we can address such kind of issues is to create awareness. So there must be an awareness. We need to educate people on how to love their neighbor as themselves, on how to be considerate and don't think about yourself. Because it's this only me that makes some people go to leadership positions and just want to take everything and just want to amass all the wealth and don't think about the people. And anybody that wants to be a leader must have the people at heart. Yes. You must have the mindset to be able to, to have a large heart to be able to carry the people along and don't think about yourself alone. Must have a heart to be able to be a contributor and to the society. It must have a heart, a very large heart to be able to, provide solutions to the problems of the society. But when one has been, mindset has been altered either by traumas, childhood traumas, through maybe could be anxiety, could be stress, could be depression or whatsoever, there's a way. That's why I said mental health has to be a course that has to be introduced to all levels of education, so that, and even when you are doing interview, even in leadership positions, people should go for mental health tests. Everybody should go through that, because it's not everybody that is working that is working normally, and it's not everybody. When I mean everybody not working normally, is that there are people that their mindset have been altered as a result of their upbringing, as a result of the traumas they've gone through, and some are depressed as a result of what is happening around the society. So those are things that anybody that wants to go into leadership position, you must have a large heart. You must be sure that your mindset is not altered. And how we get to know is maybe the way the person talks, the way the person behaves. So those are the things that needs to be checked out before handing leadership positions to people.
Whoever, yes. And I found out that, just as you mentioned about leadership positions, even in civil service and all these kinds of work, people have looked at people who left their work before them and continued to do the, let me use the word, evil that they saw the others do. And so
it been programmed. Yes. Their mind has been programmed.
Exactly. It becomes a mindset. People that were here did it like this, I must continue. Someone brings something that will need to be signed. You ask the fellow to drop something for you. And dropping is not that the fellow is dropping 20 naira. Is that the person dropping almost half of what the person came for. And afterwards, how do you expect, especially those ones who are doing businesses, contractors, how do you expect such a person to go out and do that work and get it well done when he has dropped half of the money with you? Some people who are in certain offices will look at me and say that I'm talking nonsense, but that's the truth. I have seen it happen. I have seen it happen in so many places where, oh, there's this project they've given me, I want to carry it out, I want to do it, and before you know it, the person comes back with a long face. What is the problem? The amount of money they asked me to, they said I will drop, is so much of a problem that I don't even know how I can carry out this work. When I finish giving them this amount of money, how can I succeed? You know, you see someone that has been given a project of road construction, and then he goes out, collects this money, he comes back, reasoning, thinking, how can I do this job? Someone will stay awake all night long, thinking and thinking, how can I do this job? When we eventually say, okay, let's go and mix whatever we can, just do a facelift of the place and leave it. Whatever happens, let it be. It's because of the fact that they didn't let him take all that he was supposed to take while doing that work, because those people that are in the office that they say you must drop something have taken most of the things from them. If you say this now, some people will say that what you're saying is not correct and all that. But that's what we have been seeing. That's what I have heard many people go through, because I know that they have gone through such things. These are the problems that we are going through in this country. And I keep wondering, how will we come out of these things? Thank God you're also a spiritual person. So that's why I'm talking about these things. I believe maybe I guess you're going to tell us, because apart from how do we do this reorientation? And some people who do not know, who do not understand about prayer, I think there is need for them to start thinking about it, because these are some of the things that we need, so as to help people let their minds come back the way it ought to be and reason well. Well, we'll talk about that. But before we get to that, let's take from the business news, and we'll return here.
The Pension Transactional Arrangement Directorate has announced the start of implementation of the new pension increments for pensioners under the defined benefit scheme, saying the adjustments will be reflected in the September 2025 payroll cycle. In a statement signed by management and posted on his X handle, PT80 says the increased package includes a fixed 32,000 naira payment alongside percentage increases of 10.66% and 12.95% for eligible categories, which will benefit about 832,000 pensioners under its management. The approval follows a formal request by PTADA's Executive Secretary Tolulope Odunaya, seeking an emergency budgetary allocation to implement pension reforms and welfare benefits for the scheme's retirees. It adds that the partial release of 820.188 billion naira by the Federal Ministry of Finance from the emergency funding has made it possible for pensioners to begin receiving the enhanced payment immediately. The statement also expressed appreciation to organized pension groups, including the Nigeria Union of Pensioners and the Federal Parastatals and Private Sector Pensioners Association of Nigeria, for their cooperation during negotiations and implementation planning. Recall that PTAD in August announced President Bola Tinubu's approved a series of measures, including new welfare benefits for pensioners under DBS. The Edo State Executive Council has approved a revised supplementary budget of 799.820 billion naira for the 2025 fiscal year, up from the initial 675.220 billion naira, representing an increase of approximately 125 billion naira, representing 18%. According to a statement issued on Tuesday by Fred Itwa, the spokesperson for Governor Monday Okpaolo, the approval followed an emergency executive meeting presided over by the chairman in council and Governor Okpaolo. Briefing reporters after the meeting, the Commissioner for Finance, Emmanuel Okwebo, explained the rationale behind the adjustment and emphasized the government's commitment to infrastructure development. Okwabo further explained that the increment in the budget is about 125 billion naira, which signifies about 18% of the previous budget. He added that the recurrent increased by 12 billion naira, while capital is about 113 billion naira from the previous one. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government to demonstrate commitment to revamping Nigeria's education sector by addressing long-standing demands of the union in order to avert an impending strike at the expiration of its 14-day ultimatum. In a statement, ASU President Professor Christopher Piruna expressed confidence in government's capacity to reposition university education, but stresses that such efforts must tackle the persistent financial constraints facing public universities. It further appeals to Nigerians to join in the mounting pressure on the government to do the needful.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Victor Day, thanks a lot for that package. And we're still on here. It's still the independence and us, talking about our 65th independence and the mental health impact on the people. So, because sometimes you look at some people, it will look as though you just ask, where is your reasoning from? It's difficult because of the things they are seeing. Some can't come to can't grasp the fact that I need to provide food for my family. What can I do to get it? Some people are in big trouble concerning this. In fact, I don't want to say some people, many people, majority of people in Nigeria today are bothered about these things. School fees, transport, of course, transport and all that. Everything keeps going on. And now that Pengason and their brother or sister have started to also bring in the strike action to make it more difficult for people to get to have the fear that they used to move about. That's another problem altogether. So many things are coming. So many things are coming. How do we come out of all this? And what is the problem? How can you told us about the problem, but what is the solution? Let's look that way now. And I still want to say that I believe the price should be part of it. So please talk to us.
Okay. Like before, I would like to say that our environment has a great role to play in our lives, where we grow, the people we associate with. And when we stay in an environment that is very toxic, the possibility that the person will become very toxic is 99.9%, because it's what is taken in. And we always say that a mind of a child is like a tabula rasa. It's what you put in that the child takes in. It's like garbage in and garbage out. And what I would like to say is that our environment has a lot to play in our lives. And like most times we always say, don't let your background determine who you will become in life. That means you can go through a toxic environment, but you can choose to stand out and not to be toxic. Like you talk about the people in the offices and how they take in bribes and lots of things and things that go wrong that is not supposed to go wrong in that office. And because you've seen your predecessor do something, because doesn't mean that it is right. We have the mind to be able to choose what is right from what is not right. Like the word of God told us that I've given you light and I've given you choose you what you will choose. Yes. He has given us light, he has given us darkness. So you have the power to choose what you want. But when one's mental health has been distorted, it takes the grace of God for you to correct that mindset. So, and it takes a lot of therapy, and it takes a lot of education. It takes a lot of awareness for us to be able to make that person to begin to think, in a proper shape. But prayer has a lot to do too, despite the fact that God has given us the blessing of medicine. So prayer has a lot of effect to do in our various lives when we see things are not going right. Like most times I tell people that when you see your leaders not doing well, and the Bible told us that we should pray for our leaders. So we have the right, we have the duty to pray for them when we see them not doing the right thing. Some of them is not their fault. Some is the way they were brought up. Some is the way, you know, the environment where they lived. Some they were impacted in a negative way. Some, you know, we just need to just pray for them that God will help them to be able to lead us right and guide us right. And we have a role to play. We can't just sit down and just complain and grumble for what is not working in Nigeria, but we have the right, we have the role to also pray for our leaders, that our leaders will be able to serve us well and serve us better. And when we pray for our leaders, we will begin to see them begin to do the will of God. We begin to see that then they will be able to choose between listening to the voice that is derailing them from the original course. They will become more focused and be able to do the right things at the right time.
Okay, thank you. Looking at all that, it's, I honestly, I pray myself and hope that our meditation for today, that is the Independence Day, will be how to get back this nation to the right track. Especially, I'm not talking about Nigeria, I'm talking about Nigerians. Our people, what can happen to help Nigerians reason the right way? It doesn't mean that somebody watching this program does not reason right. But the fact is that you know you are reasoning right and you are watching me, you do know too that around you there are many people who do not reason right. You do know too that there are, even among some of them who are your friends, who are your neighbors, who are your colleagues in the office, that some of them do not reason right. And that's what we're talking about on the program today. Independence and us. The impact of these mental health on the people. A lot has happened. A lot has happened to our people that they now sit back, spend so much more time even thinking of what to do than doing something. Yet, we have seen people who have gone on to amass wealth negatively and living in all affluence, living in all flamboyance, and they are all around. That is how people thinking about this sort of situation, that is part of what led to the situation that we have today, that there are kidnappers, that there are all such people all around the country, and they get somebody and ask for ransom. Can you imagine asking for 100 million naira for one person? Where did they get that reasoning? It wasn't like that in this country. 65 years. I knew that when Nigeria was 30, that people reasoned better than the way they reason today that Nigeria is 65. People reasoned better. There was love. There were many people from the south who lived in the north comfortably, and that's why up north there are many southerners who speak the northern language effectively and perfectly, and they understand it because they have lived there almost all their lives. And but today it's a difficult thing to find such things because of all this negativity that is growing all across our country. Oh, I am from the north, you are from the south, I am from the north central, you are from the northeast. You know, not only that, you are even now both from the north, but you start creating the other demarcations that you are creating to show where you are from. And you cannot help that person that is from the other side anymore. You cannot trust that person from the other side anymore. You cannot love that person that is from the other side anymore. You will think of how to plan what to do to take his life or to take his wealth. When the wealth refuses to come, you take the life. And things like that. These are the things that we have as a problem in our country today. What do we do? These things I remember quite all right that then, when there was a Christmas celebration, then, whether in the north or the south, there will be, big celebration. that the Christians will cook rice and take to the homes of Muslims, and the Muslims will eat and thank them. And when there is all the eats, the Muslims will cook, use the hand, cook and all that, and bring food and send to the homes of the Christians, and they will eat and be glad and return the plates to them eventually later, thanking them for what they've done. These days, who still does it? There are very few people who still do such things. In actual fact, what is happening in the country today, that some people from the other religion talk about it, will cook and bring to the other ones. They will carry it and give to their dogs because they are even afraid of eating what they have given them. And the same way the other side, vice versa. So we need to have love in truth and in spirit. 65 years, we have grown on the negative. I think so, on a serious note. And those early things we had, we seem to be dropping them because of what I don't know how it started coming into this country. If we can meditate on this day and begin this year again, let's go back. Let's go back. The Christian is your brother. The Muslim is your brother. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth, because you are both Nigerians in the first place. Let's work in love. It will help us, that it will begin to affect our mental reasoning, that will begin to come back, because when we see the next person as the way we see ourselves, we will not want to harm or hurt such a person, because we reason better, because we see them the way we see ourselves. Nobody will want to hurt himself. Please, it's your field. Let me let you talk.
Like I said, influence has a great power over people. When you have people that have negative influence on the good ones, they carry it in a double way. If it's a good, that's why it's very important to choose who you work with in life. And if people can afford to do anything right now because they are hungry. People are starving. It's as a result of lack of job opportunities. Lack of, I remember a story of a guy who finished school and looked for a job and didn't get a job. And then I think somebody came and told him that there's this big man who said they should come and work for him and everything. And before you know, they went to work for him, and the kind of work they were doing for him was not something we should talk about in the society.
Yes.
They were stealing. He was introduced to stealing. He was introduced to drugs. He's a graduate, speaks good English, went to school. When they asked him, he was caught, and he was asked, he said because he didn't get a job, that was why he did the available to survive. And that's why I said everybody is trying to walk into that survival mode. But we can work on our mindset. We can create jobs, because there's no job. It does not give you the excuse to go do things that are not, that are not benefiting to your neighbor. Like we said, love is the most powerful thing on earth. The Bible told us that we should love ourselves. We should love our neighbor, as we love ourselves. So love is a very powerful tool that we need to work on. Yes, there's no job. I'm sorry that there's no job, but can you just start creating one for yourself? There are many ways to create jobs for people, for yourself. There are many ways to make yourself, available to do the right things, and to ensure that the right things are always done regularly. And we can also be part of people to help the government to expose the bad eggs.
Yes.
We can help the government. Let's not cover evil. Let's train our children in God's way, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from those trainings. So it's very important that we spend time to check out any bad influence in our midst. And as we check those bad influence, we expose them, so that we can have a better country, so that unity can take place in the country. Yes, I remember those days actually when we receive food from it, but now we're afraid. We say, be careful though, because you don't know what they put inside. That's the extent of fear. But then we ate freely, we talk freely, we mixed up with each other freely. When there was crisis, a lot of people moved from the northern side and moved back to their various places. But there are people that are still staying there, that still stayed behind. But there were a lot of people that had to just relocate and leave that place. What is the reason? It's influence. Influence. So influence can make, can give room for bad eggs to be able to, to be able to thrive. So it's very important that we make up our mind not to allow things to just influence us like that. We should not be enticed by the things of the world. We should not be enticed by by the society, what is happening in the society. And I know that things are not very good, but with God, we trust God that things will turn out for our good. And I want to thank God for Nigeria, because we are not just looking at the bad side of what's happening in Nigeria. We thank God that at least there are things we can still celebrate in Nigeria, like unity and resilience. The country has survived bitter wars, civil wars from 1967 to 1970, and numerous political, crises, that the country has survived. And also we've had at least stability in democracy for a while now. So it's something to also celebrate, because they say we should count our blessings, name them one by one. So that's why the fact that we know that we are not yet there, but we know that we are a work in progress. Thank God, at least we are celebrating unity and resilience. We are also celebrating democracy, stability, at least for a while. Democracy has been stable. There has not been interruption by any other factor or anything. Thank God for growth too. In key sectors, there has been undeniable growth in areas like education. For right now we have many tertiary institutions. We have private. Those days, admission was a problem to get admission in school. But right now, with the growth or with the upcoming of private universities, we have a lot of spaces for admissions for our children. So now we are not sure. Those days, before you get admission, once they get to the point, every university had the number they take. Once they get to that cut-off place number, that's the end. Sometimes you stay 2-3 years at home looking for admission. But right now, with the offspring of private universities, now it's easy to get schools to be able to. So there's a lot to just celebrate for democracy. And we're so grateful to God that we could celebrate all this during the independence. Yes,
we also want to thank God for the economy, because I thank God also for the Naira. The Naira has continued to come, move up and bringing down the value of the dollar. For some time now, it has been so. It is 1,400 and some Naira on top of it. That's what it is now. Wow. It's no longer even 1.5, and that 1.5 is a story of 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. For 2 weeks now, we have had it moving. The whole of last week, it was 1,480. Yes, and now it is moving up to 1,440, and it's still going on. So we thank God for whatever that has led to it. Thank God for the the one we say the money in reserve, the money foreign reserve that we have. It has also gone beyond 40. I think it's 42 now, 42 billion. So it's a good thing. So Nigeria is getting better truly. But let Nigerians work to make Nigeria a better place to live. So many Nigerians are still working against the general interest of Nigeria. Well, it's on that note we want to thank you so much for coming here again, coming to be with us on the program. Tayo, thanks a lot. We are grateful, and please do know that we'll still be asking you to come over as time goes on. Right. And dear viewer, this is also where we'll pack up our work for today. Let me say special thanks to you for being part of what has happened. We'll still continue. We still have a lot as far as this transmission for the day is concerned. I want to say special thanks to Paul O'Malley, and of course to Ihanyi. Of course, I won't forget that Ihanyi Ugoji. Let me also say thanks again to Victor Adeyeye, all of you for helping one way or the other. I have not forgotten that there is Victor Chizea and Felix Akinjagola. We've all worked together to get things done. And I believe that as we keep going on, the best will keep coming. Not forgetting that, say, on behalf of my assistant, Esther Abraham, this is Okechukwu Onubogu saying, may the best happen to us all the time.